They didn't bring us here to change the past.
Say that again.
They didn't bring us here to change the past.
They didn't bring us here at all. We brought ourselves.
This is Past the Rock. We're back. It's time.
We gotta give
to bring us football.
Yeah, we're talking about football today, guys. I think there's a game coming up this Sunday. I'm not totally sure.
Is it a little game?
Yeah, it's a flag football game, I believe, at halftime.
I just want to know when the Pro Bowl is.
Sorry, but
I don't even know when the Pro Bowl is. I'm pretty sure it just happened though. I'm not entirely sure.
What happened to America?
The NFC won. Brandon Aubrey made a bunch of extra money because the NFC won the Pro Bowl.
Good for him.
You double the rate if you win. So
does Jerry get a cut of that?
I don't know how league revenue
sharing
works.
He's like, we had to license the star for you, so buddy, you got to pay up a little bit.
It's a little bit, right? I wouldn't be surprised.
I was wearing the Albertsons, the no logo. Solid blue and white.
That makes sense. All right, well, guys, before we talk into the Super Bowl, there's a few little things that have come up recently. You know, the NFL, that's a petty league. They can't let the NBA get all the spotlight with trades. However, I don't think, short of a top 10 quarterback getting traded, you're not going to see too many big, like, attention-grabbing trades to just really shake the league up. This might be the closest thing, though. So, before we get to that one, let's talk about a more minor trade. Cooper Kupp is getting kicked out of LA. Whether he wants to be or not, he's not going to be cut. I think that salary of his is a little bit too much for them to want to take onto their books via dead cap hits. So they're going to want to trade him away. The Rams have said so as much. Cooper Kupp has already posted, hey, the team's going to trade me. I don't know where I'm going. And I'll be interested to see where he goes. He is kind of, I don't want to say washed. He has just really been physically beat down over the years because of how much he's gotten in terms of target share. He's pretty much gotten like a running back's workload at the receiver position. He's taken a bunch of hits. And, you know, we've seen Cooper Kupp at his best, and it was incredible, right? He was one of the best slot receivers we've ever seen. Been able to play on the outside from occasion as well. But now it's Puka Nakua's team to fill that. It's his time to fill that role, and Cooper Kupp, he's breaking down. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes, who wants him, what the competition is for. You know, here's what I'm gonna one up you on this one. All right. He's a 30s player that used to be one of the best at his positions, but it looks like he's hurt and he's hurt and washed, allegedly washed. He's a Tennessee Titan. Just look at all the big names that Tennessee Titans have brought way past their prep.
Chiefs.
No, the Chiefs are also a good one. Yeah, they're always.
They usually just take fast guys. So,
I mean, DeAndre Hopkins was never fast, ever.
Okay, and now we've lost another team in that trade, and one of the players is gonna be. See, this is why we wait. Continue.
All right, well now let's talk about the big name, the big fish on the trade market. Myles Garrett has said he wants out. He wants out of Cleveland. He has made it known. Cleveland earlier in the year, or earlier in the offseason, or their offseason, I guess, playoffs really. They said they had no interest in trading Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett said he has no interest in staying in Cleveland. Now, I know you have that little Jerry figure on the top head, but let's be real. They're not shelling out the money or the draft compensation.
No, but I do really want him to stay firm on this trade request because I would like to continue the narrative for as long as possible.
That is fair. Now, I will be interested to see who wants it because his contract is still pretty bloated. He is entering his age 30 season. So he's not cooked yet. You know, he's only been in the league, I believe, 7 years. And he is, for as athletic as he is, he's also very powerful. And defensive ends that rely a lot on power, they have longer careers than those who rely purely on speed. Once you lose a step, you're kind of done in this league unless you have something else in your bag of tricks at the edge rusher position. So that's why, guys, I have some ideal landing spots for Myles Garrett that I'm going to bring to you guys. All right. Now, I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere where like Bovada had the Eagles as the number one landing spot for him. I don't think that's going to happen. They don't have the cap space for it. And I don't know if they want to trade a bunch of first-round picks for him right now. Although we could use a pass rusher. Bethy's narrative of the Dallas Cowboys?
Commanders, Raiders, Lions, Eagles are way down this list.
They're smart. They're smart.
Mina Kimes did an interview with them, and she said that the Commanders are the ones she sees the most photoshopped.
And that's where I wanted to go. So, you mentioned it, Commanders. You said the Lions. I don't see the Raiders as much, to be honest. And who else is on that list?
1 second, Caesar.
What? Hello?
Not great. We're having some technical difficulties, it looks like, on Bethke's side. He's muted now.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Should we take a pause?
Wait.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe I messed up the...
It's gone. I think we're back.
I might need to not do what I do with my cords all the time.
Don't make them touch. Yeah, the mic cord, if it's touching stuff, is probably going to cause some...
That one like weirded out, and it's weird how and I'm pretty sure it's the mic because it always mutes me whenever it does it.
Well, we're back. Sorry about that, Caesar.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, as I was saying, so we're looking at the Commanders, we're looking at the Lions. Who else did the MGM say that they had in there?
Are up there.
No chance.
Pats, Packers.
All right, so.
All right, underdog Jerry. Let's go.
So there's two of those I'm in total agreement with. Lions, Commanders. He could be a difference maker there on both teams. Packers, I think, would be a little bit more of a sleeper pick. They're not the type of franchise that I ever see really make these huge moves where they're giving up a bunch of
Reggie White 2.0.
Could be.
It's weird because it's like there's a salary cap now, and they're not gonna like save money trading him away.
No, there's a pie. You have to understand, okay?
Yeah, well, his cut of the pie is staying in Cleveland no matter where he's at.
Well, okay, but you have to understand there's a pie.
True. Now, guys, here's some other teams, though, that might want a piece of that Myles Garrett pie on their books. All right? So, you know who's a team that likes to think that they can contend and is always in desperate need of a pass rush? Falcons. Falcons is one. Now, you know who needs a quarterback? The Cleveland Browns. You know who has a quarterback they don't want nothing to do with and has a big salary? The Atlanta Falcons. Are you with me on this one?
Do you salary match in the NFL? Is that a thing?
I don't know if you salary match, but you can.
I don't think the NFL trades really work like that, because isn't that why the trading Dak thing this offseason would make no sense?
I mean, you can not salary match, but you can send back salaries so you're like equal weight. There's an equal weight to it. The NFL cap's a weird situation there, but it would make sense if you want to do a player for player swap and save on some draft picks here and there. So Falcons is one team that I would imagine would be in on the situation. Another team that I think would be in on the situation, though I don't know if they would give up any particular players, but it's the same fucking division, and it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, they have a feisty offense. That defense, not the same level of defense that it was during the Super Bowl run. Myles Garrett could change that. He looks like he could be a Buccaneer, in my opinion. So that's one more team. And then the last team that I got, because I just don't see the Browns really trying to send him within the same conference. We're going to go to the NFC West. Who is a defensive mind that absolutely, positively wants and needs somebody who can be a difference maker early in their tenure. They have an offense that can put up points, but they just really need to shore up that defense. Seattle Seahawks. So I'm thinking those are the 5 destinations for Myles Garrett in the NFC. But there's going to be plenty of propaganda for Cowboys, Eagles, and Lions, Commanders, and other teams, other high-profile teams, to go get the services of Myles Garrett. It'd be interesting to see what he gets in the market, because
For sure.
we saw what Khalil Mack at age 27, he got like 4 first-round picks from the Bears. Age 30, Myles Garrett, better player than age 30 Khalil Mack. I'm going to assume that he's going to get at least 3, maybe. So,
No, excellent coverage on 2 future Cowboys. We'll wait to cover them more in the future.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast at all. We covered the Justin Tucker story.
Justin Tucker.
No,
I don't know
sir.
that we have a lot of details.
That
but it
was-
seems
we
worth
were not-
mentioning.
It does seem worth mentioning. I mean, if you want to go for it, because I didn't really see that much into it other than, listen, okay, so you know what? I have seen a decent amount. Now that I've seen, okay, for those who aren't on Twitter that often, for whatever reasons, there are tweets dating back to 2021 about Justin Tucker being banned from Baltimore masseuse parlors. Some accusing him of being a Minuteman, if you know what that means. And just being a downright creep. Now this comes out, the story comes out here 2025, and he is banned, and he has done some fucked up shit, and then he has a lot in common with Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, that's really all there is to it. I don't know where to go with that from there, to be honest.
I mean, I guess it's mostly of note because he's potentially the greatest kicker of all time. And then obviously with our local aesthetic we've got going on here, he was a big deal in Texas for his 4 years. But it is wild, his response saying that he's never been banned from anywhere. And it's like, that seems like something they wouldn't just say without someone who owned that place saying, yes, we banned him.
Yeah, and is that your first response, Justin Tucker's like, I've never been banned.
My favorite thing about it was his response started with, throughout my professional career, which really left the door open for, don't come after me for what I did before I was drafted.
Is there some history in the Austin area with massage parlors and Justin Tucker?
All I know is
maybe
it's
not.
just kind of embarrassing because it's always the same story. The cowardness is always like, we focus a lot on Justin Tucker here, and it's fine. He's kind of a shitty person. But I really do want to make sure we also really emphasize how long these seem to have been around and how nobody gave a fuck. These people who allegedly have all the intel in the world, you know what I mean? These people that are usually crazy, right? Like it's inconceivable to me that they can play dumb on this. They're acting like politicians, right? Like they're playing dumb with things we know they know. And I think it's very frustrating for any fans, anybody, where it's like, oh, first bad year, now we know. Now the girls are allowed to, go to get lawyers, right? Like, what's up?
Well, I don't even know if there's actually a lawsuit involved.
It's a class action to start, or is it just she's just being represented? I mean, she's gotten it's a lawyer that's representing these people.
Well, it's not Tony Busby. I guess he's getting tied up with Jay-Z in the courts right now. But
yeah, he might have learned his lesson. He got a little too much dip on his chip.
Looks like, but yeah.
But yeah,
this has been around for a while. It's just hasn't been talked about, I guess. Maybe it's something that was talked about a lot locally.
Locally, it sounds like, from what I've read, is people were kind of like, yeah.
Like, yeah, he sucks. And then nationally, just
more like, yeah, we all knew he was kind of doing this weird bit. The funniest thing to me about the whole story is that he was showing up at these, like, and it wasn't like massage, but like he's going to like actual like like spa and treatment centers. You
Yeah,
know?
he's going to very, very
but he's-
expensive
But he's showing
upscale.
up dressed in full Baltimore Ravens gear.
Yeah, no, he's not being like he's doing just what Michael Jordan's son was doing the other night when he got arrested.
Yeah, I didn't read any more about that.
It wasn't anything, bro. He just got caught being a jackass and was like, "My daddy's Michael Jordan," and then the cop was like,
But you're not.
He's like, all right, I guess he's paying the bail.
yeah, like yeah. He'd be like, "I'm not the bondsman, bro. Wrong person to tell. Let's go." Yeah, but anyway.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's pretty wild. I thought he was gonna have at least another year or two to kind of come back and reestablish himself in the league, and now I don't know if he's gonna get that chance. So, that might be.
He might. I mean, they
Definitely. I feel like I feel like he's gonna go free for sure. But we'll see.
I don't know.
That's gonna be a slap on the wrist, and I don't know if anybody in that locker room is gonna be like
time where it was like, it's just not worth bringing him back anymore.
Consider me a pessimist on this one.
Same. It's like we all saw, players rally around Deshaun Watson, and like despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary that he should be doing that, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Tucker gets that same treatment, and he's actually won games.
The guaranteed money for a quarterback.
I mean, the guaranteed money, but like that money is not those players' problem. That's a choice.
No, but they know he's gonna be there, so they kind of have to be like, "Hey, bud, what's up?"
You could just not say anything, just be like no comment, or just be neutral. Say something very neutral. They get media trained, or they should be getting media trained. So, no.
Anyways,
I have no faith in the NFL system to correct whatever this is.
And then my last not Super Bowl point. Did y'all see Marshall Manning throwing dimes at the Pro Bowl?
They can't stop, won't stop.
Peyton's 13-year-old son.
Does Marshall go to USC and save them in like 5-6 years?
Oh, he's going to an SEC school.
Absolutely.
I don't know which one, but
there has to be a Manning that bucks the trend.
No, bro, Peyton Manning is doing like, no son of mine's gonna go to some liberal pansy school. He's gonna say that behind closed doors.
No school outside of the SEC is gonna pay him 10% of what he's gonna make going to
Michigan,
Texas
clearly.
or Tennessee or
Michigan just did that.
Yeah, but he wasn't a Manning.
If anything, I would assume that Peyton's like, hey, you're my son. Like Arch is one thing. You're my boy. You're going to Tennessee.
I can't control Arch. I can control you, boy.
Yeah, you might tell him to go to whoever's good at that time.
It's also a good strategy. Go rebuild a program from the bottom down. Show them what you're worth.
Hey, Marsh, let's go to Vanderbilt. Fuck it. Be a real legend.
See. I mean, we'll see what they're like. I mean, they might. Who knows? They could be running the thing.
It's time to go rebuild Kennesaw State.
Oh.
I did it on video game. Trust me.
Hey, me and Green could always get the quarterback, man.
Chandler Morris just trying to throw the goddamn ball. He is not good at that game.
You're not wrong, man. Listen, that's why I have to take over quarterback in that game. Anyway, let's talk about an actual game that's happening right now, or happening soon. Shall we, gentlemen? It's Super Bowl Sunday. It is the end of the 2024-2025 season. It's upon us now, gentlemen. We've been through 21 weeks of football, 22 weeks, something like that, not including the preseason. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of frustrating moments, a lot of fantastic moments that have all led to this big game right here. So let's go ahead and get started. You already know who's playing. It's the Philadelphia Eagles up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, this is a rematch of the Super Bowl 57. So, same teams, but no, may not be the exact same type of game, and it may not be the exact same rosters as the last time. So we're just going to talk about things that have changed, some tail of the tape stuff. Now, for any super diehard Pass the Rock fans out there that might have heard the last time I did the coverage of the Super Bowl of the Eagles and Chiefs, and that shit blew up right in my face, didn't it? All right. And one of the biggest moments that blew up in my face from that was the last time I did a tail of the tape of two teams, because I was like, hey, look at these two rosters. How can you doubt this Eagles roster? And then I did the biggest mistake, and I doubted number 15. So
you've been doubting the Chiefs receivers all year.
Hey, and I'm not wrong to do so. They're not very good, but Patrick Mahomes is just good enough to make them functional.
I can't wait. I can't. Actually, I don't want that to happen because I don't want to have to dig through all of our episodes for the whole year to find all the times.
I don't even think I've been that disparaging about them, really.
We'll see. I seem to remember it, but I could be conflating.
Listen, you might be remembering when I was dissing them the last Super Bowl. And even then, and that Super Bowl roster was better than this one, Chiefs-wise. But anyway, let's just get into it, gentlemen. We're going to do the tail of the tape. Eagles offense versus Chiefs defense. I have some big numbers here to throw to y'all's way. Why? Because I want to paint the picture of what we really have in store here in this Super Bowl matchup. All right? So, Eagles offense. This is what we have. Points per game. The Philadelphia Eagles finished the year 28.4 points per game. That's 6th best in the NFL. Yards per game, 7th at 367 yards a game. Now, this is where the story of the Eagles season really comes into full focus here. The much maligned passing game of the Philadelphia Eagles has a ton of merit for it. And one of the biggest reasons why, well, guys, it's because their passing game ranked 31st in yards with 180.5 yards per game. 31st, that's crazy. Especially when you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert on your team.
It's skewed a bit by the running game.
That's where I was going with. They were second in the league in rushing yards per game at 186.6 yards. Like I said, the second best. Of course, Saquon Barkley led the league in rushing with 2,005 yards. So there is good reason why. But I'm sure a lot of people who like to, bag on the Eagles will point to that passing stat and like, hey, it still looked rough even when there were certain looks there for Jalen Hurts to have. Now, let's look at the Chiefs' defense. How good were the Chiefs' defense? In comparison to what the Eagles' offense brings to this game? Points per game. The Chiefs were one of the best teams in the entire league at holding the other team down in terms of their scoring output. They were 4th best at 19.4 points per game. Yards per game allowed. They were 10th best at 327.3 yards per game allowed. Now let's see where the strength of this team lies. It does not necessarily lie with their pass defense. Their pass defense ranked 19th, so middle of the road, 220.6 yards per game. Now, their rushing defense, that was one of the best in the league. They averaged 106.7. That is 9th best. So, when we're looking at the offense of the Eagles, we're looking at the defense of the Chiefs. Where does it all kind of boil down to? And, guys, it's real simple. Can they stop Saquon Barkley? The numbers suggest that they have a good chance. But we've seen what Saquon Barkley has done all year long, and he's only continued to do what Saquon does best, and that is rattle off explosive runs in the postseason as well. All right, and now we look at, so you're like, hey, do they sell out to stop the run? Well, then you have the biggest question I think that's been posed across all different podcasts, all different media outlets, is can Jalen Hurts win this game with his arm? Now, we already know what he did the last Super Bowl. We saw one of the best performances we've ever seen a quarterback have in a losing effort, but it was still one of the best performances we've ever seen a quarterback have. He lived off explosive plays. Can he do it again? He has the weapons to do so. I don't know if they have the schematic advantage to do so, especially not against Steve Spagnuolo of the Chiefs. He seems to be the ultimate difference maker that nobody really talks about when it comes to this Chiefs team. Now, let's go on to the other side of the tape. And gentlemen, that is the Kansas City Chiefs offense against this Eagles defense. Now, I don't know how plugged in you guys have been with the Kansas City Chiefs this year, but their offense has not been a fun one to watch. It has not been explosive. This is an offense that is built around death by a bajillion paper cuts, all right? They rank near the bottom of the league in explosive plays. I believe they are bottom 26 the last time I saw in terms of explosive pass plays and what that means is just pass plays that travel 20 yards or more and are completed. They're one of the worst teams at that, which, is a shocker when you consider Pat Mahomes early in his career. That boy was just slinging it, all right? He was very much just chucking that thing down the field. Are you looking?
Mind. Sorry.
Okay. So, yeah, but what have the Chiefs been really good at? They have been efficient, right? They have been absolutely methodical in their approach and how they go up and down the field. But the problem with that is they don't really get a whole ton of yardage and they don't really put up a whole ton of points. So, points per game, the Chiefs, 12th in the league at 23. Yards per game, they're 19th at 324.5 yards per game. Now, you look at their splits, offense and defense, passing yards per game, right middle of the pack. They are 15th.
I've got them at
220.
Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
Sorry. I don't know how to read.
All right. And then rushing yards per game. They're 23rd at 103.9. So they're not great at passing the ball. They're not great at running the ball, but they are great at doing what matters most, and that's winning football games.
They're also the second best team at fourth down percentage.
Yeah, right behind, I believe, the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, they're actually, Commanders have a dominating percentage on that. They were at 87. Chiefs are at 70. Eagles also at 70, though, right behind them, like 70.6 and 70.4.
Yeah, it's the tush push versus Patrick Mahomes, which that's kind of what this game might boil down to. Now, the Eagles defense. This has been the, I guess, crowning achievement of Howie Roseman this season. He is built up what last year was the absolute worst defense of the league, turned it around into what is one of the best, if not the best defense in the league this season. Let's look at points per game allowed. They were first at 17.9. Yards per game allowed, first at 289.3. Where does this defense shine most, though? It's in their secondary. Something that could not have been said the last time these two teams played, which is, 184.9 yards allowed in the air by this Eagles defense. That's second best in the league. And then subsequently, the rushing yards per game allowed is 104.4. Now, in this game, I imagine that, Chiefs really don't have any interest in running the ball with Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, not when they have Patrick Mahomes, not when their entire identity has been the short passing game going up and down the field. So what gives, gentlemen? Well, I have some more key stats here to show you or to tell you guys. All right. You can give me your thoughts after I'm done rattling these down. So the Eagles, like I just said, they were second best in the league in terms of yards per play or per game allowed in the air. Well, there's the second ranked league. They're the second ranked team also in defensive EPA per passing play. So that's estimated points average per passing play. Second best. That's great. So how has Mahomes done against teams in the top 10 in that regard? Well, pretty respectable. He's what? I got right here in my notes. He had 7 starts against teams ranking in the top 10 in defensive EPA per passing play. In those games, he put up 254 yards in the air, but he only had 6 touchdowns in those 7 games, while never recording more than 1 in a single game. And then his passer rating was about 92.3. So he had success in getting yards, but not really getting points on the board. And yeah, that is a telling number, I think, in this game. In terms of what could happen, what it might look like. Because guys, I really think in this game we're gonna see a low-scoring Super Bowl affair. I really don't think there's gonna be a ton of possessions on either side of the ball. Mostly because both teams like to play time of possession. They just do it in different ways. The Eagles with the run game, and then the Chiefs with that short dink and dunk passing game that they got going on. So What's different in this matchup versus the last time they met in Super Bowl 57? All right, gentlemen, y'all remember, right? Y'all remember? I was like, hey, look at these Chiefs wide receivers. Look at these Eagles defensive backs. There's no way that Patrick Mahomes has a shot. I was wrong. I was like, look at this Chiefs offensive line versus this Eagles defensive line. They had 70 fucking sacks that year. They were absolutely killing teams. They didn't get a single sack. Matter of fact, the entire time they were slipping on grass. And they refused to send blitzers that entire game, and it cost them a lot. Now, what's different with the Eagles? Well, the Eagles, if y'all don't remember, Miles Sanders had a pretty decent season running the ball that year. He was a non-factor in the Super Bowl. I believe Jalen Hurts was the leading rusher for the Eagles with 70 yards. Well, that's fucking changed with Saquon Barkley now in the picture. Now, this team is not nearly as pass-heavy as that last Eagles team was. So, I don't know how much of the deep ball we're going to see. We're not going to see a whole bunch of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith making miraculous catches in the end zone like they did in this last game. It's going to be an ugly Super Bowl. I think that's the biggest difference that we got going. So, that said, gentlemen, I got 5 questions, or we're doing 5 questions we want answered from this game, or that we have for this game. So I'm going to pose 3, since I am the most invested in this one. And you guys each get 1. It could be silly. It could be serious. It doesn't really matter to me. Because fuck it. It's Super Bowl Sunday, right? This is a game that a lot of people don't have a lot of interest in. So we gotta make it interesting for those who don't have too much interest in. So that said, I'm gonna pose the first fucking question, and I want to see if you guys have any answers for me on this one. All right. How many times are we going to hear about the referees from the broadcast booth? I'm putting the over/under at least 20.
Ooh, but are you factoring in Tom Brady being silenced a bit by his obligations?
Yes, because he's done it anyway. He just hasn't been, so blatant about it. But this is the biggest game of the season, and we don't know if Tom Brady's going to keep doing this.
Like, for how many calls, or like
No. How many times that they will bring up the narrative surrounding the refs and the Chiefs?
So, like, if they do it twice within 30 seconds, that's twice.
I feel like it's got to be lower, though, because I think if it was Joe Buck, I think Joe Buck would get in a lot. I think Joe Buck would get in a lot. Everyone else, I'm not sure.
So would Troy. I think those two. I think Fox is glad those two aren't there for this game. But yeah, I'm gonna go 20 times throughout the course of the game, and that's just mentions.
And this isn't like the halftime shows, like the talking head stuff, not like Kendrick.
Play-by-play in color.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar during his set, he's like, "The Chiefs are the devil. They're using devil magic." He just used it as a propaganda performance to show that the Illuminati is.
He's got a diss song for Taylor Swift.
That would be incredible. Listen, I know 20 seems excessive, but like, it might just happen.
Well, I'm just wondering how you count it. Because if they're having a conversation about it, how many times in that conversation does it get counted? Because I think it's counted 2 or 3 conversations, but like,
I'm just saying mentions of. It doesn't have to be new conversations.
You think 20 separate times someone's gonna say that people have been saying the Chiefs are getting all the calls?
No, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, it could be just brought up a total of 20 times. It could be all in one time, right? Like, hey, man, the refs, that's essentially 2 times right there in the span of 30 seconds.
Okay.
How many times you guys got?
I'm gonna say way under, but
all right, we got way under.
I'm gonna go under.
All right, fair enough.
I think they'll bring it up because they know the internet stuff that they like to bring up.
Jokes, but I can't imagine 20. Seems like a lot.
It's a long game, man, with a lot of TV timeouts.
Brady just had an article that came out that was like, Everything's going so fast. I don't have time to say anything.
I mean, fair enough, but like, listen, it's not like you can do a bunch of prep work. So, low hanging fruit's right there, Tom. Low hanging fruit is right there, and you can continue to build up your hypocrisy by saying you never really complained about the wrestling you played, which we all know is a fucking lie. But anyway, all right. So that's one question I had going on, gentlemen. Do y'all have a question about the Super Bowl, the game? Do you want answers from this game or as a result of this game, et cetera, et cetera? Patrick, what you got?
This is probably the only time we'll ever see a three-peat, so obviously I want to know if that's going to happen.
Pat Riley gave him the clearance if they win it.
Shut up, Pat Riley. I don't care what you
Hey,
say.
he
I'll
owns
say
it.
three-peat all day long. I'll say Super
But you
Bowl.
can't,
Come after me.
sell it. If
That's
you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you're not allowed to sell merchandise without cutting Pat in on it.
I ain't selling nothing. I did want to point out, because I thought this number was interesting. When you're looking at team defense stuff, the Eagles' pressure rate and their hurry percent are really low. And Patrick Mahomes is like the one guy that I think you probably want to get to. So we'll see how that, I mean, those numbers can mean a lot of different things, but we'll see. I think that could be the difference in the game, is if the Eagles can do better than what they looked like over the season and get to him a little bit quicker, that's going to really F him up a lot. But also, even if you get to him, that doesn't always matter either, because he's a freak of nature.
And despite the low pressure rate, because they have such a strong secondary, it hasn't really come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, and in your analysis, I don't think you got across a couple of key points. You did a great job of talking about Saquon's Barkley. I think you alluded to the fact that Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. But I don't know if you hyped up Chris Jones quite properly. I think that's the only thing I would. You said good things about the team, but you need to name the man specifically, because we don't give him enough credit.
Oh yeah,
he's just as much of a motherfucker on that side of the ball as the other guy.
Oh no, I actually was going to bring up a little bit later, just not in the statistical breakdown of each team.
Got you. All right, yeah. So those are your.
I don't forget the grades.
2 more questions.
You
said 3 questions.
You have a question.
Wait, no,
Jacob.
he said he had 3 questions.
So 5 questions each. So I have 3. And then 1 for each of you guys. So 5 questions from the show.
I just asked like 1.5. So
he's got a question. So Patrick's question has been accounted for. We have 1 of your
Patrick
3
had
questions.
1 long question in my book. That's what I'll count it as 1 long question.
Okay. And then are we on question number 2 now? For you,
question number 3, because I answered the first one. So this is my second overall. Yes.
Okay.
Question here. All right. What are the talking points for Jalen Hurts if he wins the Super Bowl? Because I imagine it's going to be just as obnoxious as all the talking points regarding Jalen Hurts leading up to even getting to this game, right? It's always been, he's not good enough, right? So even if he has a good game,
I think he doesn't get that much. I don't know. It depends on what he does.
Because if he has a great game, I don't think that he's going to get credit for it.
Mahomes, the outside of Philadelphia, no one's gonna be talking about Jalen Hurts no matter what, unless he just like
unless he goes nuts, unless he goes really
Which he did.
But I think if anything, he's just gonna be looked at as probably like one of the best game managing Super Bowl winners ever. Because I still don't think people will give him that due.
That's what I'm bringing it up
like
for.
Like a super Trent Dilfer,
He's a team guy.
Yeah,
he's a team guy. Now, I know a lot of Eagles fans have been joking about, like, what kind of quote is he going to bring out his bag this time? Because the man loves to try to throw out memorable quotes.
Well, who gets the Disney World bag? Is it both of them?
No,
like,
I have to Saquon.
Wouldn't that be the funniest thing is the Eagles win this championship and then they get into a brawl at the end because they're trying to figure out who's going to do the Jalen Carter's, like, out of nowhere, just takes, like, 6 of them out. Well, he's like, I do Disney World.
Hopefully they got enough fucking steroids to get him back healthy in the next 4 days.
Jalen Carter?
They said he's been sick.
Oh, that's fine. He'll be there. It's gonna be a problem either way. Listen, but yeah, no. just as far as the talking points, listen, if he has a great game, I don't think they're going to give him credit for it. If he has a bad game, but they win, then he's just going to be called like a game manager. And it's like, hey, they won in spite of their quarterback. Is that
no, he gets blamed.
was
He
too
gets
good.
blamed 100% if they lose, no matter what he does. Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, well,
Jalen Hurts is the
unless
no, he
Saquon
throws no
fumbles 3
interceptions.
times,
It doesn't matter. They'd still be like, well, if the quarterback position was just a little bit better there for Philadelphia, I really think that could have put them over the edge. Really great team otherwise.
I can see that happening.
After the game, they wouldn't blame him, but for the rest of his life, he lost that Super Bowl without any context.
He lost that Super Bowl twice.
Eventually, it would get rewritten for sure.
Yeah,
but what are you gonna do? You're not gonna move on from him. I don't know. Maybe you do it.
I mean, they moved off of Carson Wentz right after.
Players have been to title games and then moved after.
I'm gonna throw this up just because I forgot to earlier. Little mini graphic.
Is that
for
Will
us.
Smith in a
noted Philadelphia Eagles fan? Will Smith.
Was he even
a good or a bad omen?
I mean, it wasn't a bad omen the last time they won a Super Bowl, so fuck it, I guess. All right, but that was my question for Jalen Hurts. Bethke, what's your question for the Super Bowl that you want answered, or that you have for the game? I'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, how does this impact the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, goddamn.
If the Chiefs win, you're looking at a front office that potentially understood the greatness that was in their way.
Well, the Chiefs
and has intentionally
anyways, so.
They've intentionally been saving their money and all their picks and stuff to go after Myles Garrett, Cooper Kupp, and what have you in the post 3P era. Or will the Eagles win and seeing a rival that built a contender through the draft in big part, but then took it over the top in free agency and trade with dead cap money on previous poor decisions, win a Super Bowl? Stephen Jones spontaneously combusts.
He could
all
only
of a sudden, Jerry Jr. in Charlotte, I don't know who's taking over. Jerry can't live without his, life support, because let's be honest, Jerry probably lives off of his younger son's blood, but he can't take like the grandchildren's blood. That's too young for him. He can't take that version. He needs Steven's still, because Steven's a more mature person, so he's got the blood that's more closer.
Is Yoda Jerry kid 18 yet?
So I'm just saying, I think those are the two alternative. Those are the questions I have. Which outcome impacts the Cowboys? That's what I'm.
I'll try to answer that right now. I think it would be the in-division rival doing everything you just said, but I still think that they don't care. Ultimately, they're like, we still have 3 more than they do.
I think it's actually I don't. You guys don't get into the spiritual side of the world, but I do. I happen to know that there's a certain level of wrong a human being can be where they no longer can continue to just exist. They just poof into flames and then they go.
Are you sure?
They're done. I'm 100%. There's a lot of science on this. Big government doesn't want you to know that.
Big government should be the victim of that. What are we talking about?
RFK is working on getting us the secrets as we speak.
Oh my god.
All right, I'm done.
All right.
I've derailed enough.
All right. Last question I got.
I need to check on trades.
Last question I got on this is, which one would America prefer to see happen? Would they prefer to see history denied via the 3P being stopped by the Philadelphia Eagles, or would they rather see it happening because they want to spite Eagles fans, not the players, but the fans? That's what I want to know most of. It's really hard. I've seen a little bit on the internet, just kind of a mixed bag, where people are treating the Eagles like some people, right, who don't necessarily have I think entirely negative view of the fan base and the team itself, saying, hey, you're the only hope that we got to see Mahomes not do the 3P. We're tired of seeing this dynasty just run roughshod over the league. But then there's other ones that are like, fuck the Eagles. Like, fuck Eagles fans. They don't deserve this. We might as well just have Mahomes do what no other
I feel
quarterback.
like NFL fans are very selfish and they don't think about the history as much. I think they're like, my team isn't in it. Fuck both of these teams. I don't care who wins.
That's also the
No,
another
I
one.
don't think that. I don't know how much.
You're just completely forgetting about Giants Patriots Super Bowls then, because the country all of a sudden just really loved New York and Eli Manning for no
Not me.
stupid reason.
Not
Yeah,
me.
I
want
hear what you're
Buffalo's
saying.
burn.
I hear what you're saying. You know, I just don't think that we hate the Chiefs the way we hated the Patriots. They were much
No.
more villainous. Patrick Mahomes talks like a frog. Travis Kelsey's just a big,
The
himbo.
Chiefs thing though is it's also got this weird Taylor Swift angle that's going on with all the
Yeah,
people.
but then that's just
And
like,
then,
I'm not.
Let's
I
not
don't
forget
know.
the
That's-
ref conspiracy.
We all have to deal with popular things in this world. I don't think it upsets me that much that Taylor
Not
Swift's
you.
popular.
I'm just talking about the
General
general
NFL
public.
fans.
Yeah, but then she's so popular that I wonder if the people that don't like Taylor Swift is even close to the number of positives that you get with her because they just don't care what she does. It's just everything is perfect with this girl.
It's more just that they got tired of looking at her during football games, and now they're the
I
same
don't
people
know.
who yell about everything else. And also,
I think
she
that-
endorsed Kamala.
I
So,
think I think my point still stands mostly because I don't feel like I've ever seen a sports team or franchise as hated as the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots.
And I mean, a lot of that also had to do with the cheating scandals they had to do.
That's what I'm
They had
saying.
going on with them.
And so unlikable in so many ways. Like they really were the most douchey team.
I don't know. I feel like I get the same vibe hearing people talk about the Chiefs.
I do get that vibe a little bit. It's just not to the same extent.
Chiefs, dude, Chiefs just got a couple of really good players. Like the Patriots felt like eventually we realized how great Tom was, but like the Patriots just felt like this most unstoppable force at every position for so long, and then they just kind of like died out. Then Tom Brady was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm the GOAT," and then they were like back for fucking another decade. It was just like it would never stopped.
I think
That's
what we
fucked up,
forget
bro.
when you say that is like it wasn't that they were an unstoppable force at every position. It's that their defense would absolutely destroy you, and then Tom Brady would come up and get the scraps because they didn't have a great offense the first 3 Super Bowls they had.
Do you remember
Then
when
they
the
had a great
Bengals just
offense.
gave them Corey Dillon and they just walked to a Super Bowl? You should, because that's exactly why Donovan McNabb threw up on himself.
Oh yeah,
the Chiefs
of course.
were handed so many. The Chiefs were just handed a free Tyreek Hill. They're like, "Oh, you're the best quarterback. Why don't you take the fastest guy anyone's ever seen?"
Are you talking about? Wait, well, no, that was Tyreek Hill was what already on the team when that happened, when they got Patrick Mahomes.
I thought Tyreek Hill was their draft pick.
No, he was in Miami.
No,
What?
Tyreek Hill was not in He went to Miami.
Am I just an idiot? That's fine.
You might be smoking crack, but De'Aaron Fox is
Yeah.
also smoking crack.
Yeah, you're right.
In
He
a
was
good
drafted
way.
by Kansas City.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
I misremembered.
you had the Tyreek Hill Miami thing in
Yeah.
opposite order. They basically just gave Miami Tyreek Hill.
Oh yeah, and then he was he on the team when they scored like 70 points in that one game?
He was on that team, yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
My bad.
But no, listen, this there is fatigue, I think, around this team either way. Because they've just been in so
Fatigue
many
is fair.
Super Bowls.
Fatigue is fair. I just don't feel that the villainy is the same. It doesn't feel as palpable this dynasty.
Yeah,
Is it
'cause
also
let's see,
fair to
they
say
were
you're
in
less-
it in 2019,
You're
right?
less into the NFL now than you were at the time.
No, I really don't think so. I think my opinion's valid. I just think that Patrick
Actually, as far
Mahomes
as
is not that unlikable.
Consuming the online discourse outside of Cowboys world.
Yeah,
I think the
no,
people around him are unlikable.
but
I
you
assume
always
when you
paint
were
that every
younger-
time you don't agree. You're like, oh, it's Cowboys
no,
break.
I just mean I see when you were younger, you watched more NFL, and now you focus
No,
more
no,
on the
no.
NBA than you did back then.
No, I just think Patrick Mahomes is way more enjoyable. Like, I don't know. I don't see why I'm supposed to not like Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's kind of his
I
wife's
never
annoying.
understood
His
why
brother's a
women dislike the
loser. Like,
Patriots, other
Yeah,
than
his
they
dad's
win.
a
but Tom
Well,
Brady was
his
boring,
dad's a
bro. Tom
roast.
Brady was dinking and dunking on me, and it's okay because he was great at it. But Patrick Mahomes does like superhero shit. He's it's so much fun to watch Patrick Mahomes. I just can't believe this many people hate watching this because it wins this much. Like, I don't think the Bulls were this hated when they were winning, and it's like Tom Brady is dominant, but he was boring dominant. Patrick Mahomes is exciting. Like this dude always has something to pull out of his ass. Like it's why I think he deserves the Steph Curry things too, because it's just like there's an excitement level to their ability that's not as fun. LeBron's very pragmatic, right? Like LeBron's thinking about the angle. He's going to use brute force. He's going to use what he knows. Curry and Mahomes, they're going to use the finesse, that skill to give a little more flair, maybe be riskier. You know, it seems like Mahomes has been smarter than that, but they're just so fucking good, bro. I don't know. I think it's tough. Mahomes is so goddamn good, and it's just entertaining.
You're right in everything you just said, and I think two things can be true. That there's also fatigue surrounding his success. I don't think people are tired necessarily about him as a player. I think people are more tired about the coverage surrounding the player. And let's be real. There is some truth in some of these like jokes that are made around anytime he's on Sunday Night Football, and all you hear is Chris Collinsworth glazing Patrick Mahomes at every opportunity that he
That's
can.
fair.
And there's other times.
What are you supposed to do?
Times.
The guy's fucking
but like,
amazing.
Here's the thing. There's times where he brings it up and the Chiefs aren't even playing. He'll bring up Patrick Mahomes and say, oh, that was Patrick Mahomes-esque. Where it's like, hey, man, other quarterbacks are doing this before Mahomes too, you know? Like Matthew Stafford was doing trick shots and shit.
But that's what. Hey, Gilbert Arenas existed before Steph, but it's okay. We know who turned the trend into what we see it as today. You know.
Yeah, well,
like,
I'm just presenting the other point of view. I'm not.
Now
He's
all
beautiful.
the players are packing in the locker room.
Huh?
So now all the players are packing in the locker room.
Oh, yeah. Gilbert's a trendsetter in many ways. In many ways.
I don't know if that was a trend that really kept going, but yeah. Oh, but yeah, man.
John tried to pick it up, man.
Yeah, I guess, but he just never brought it to the locker room, I think.
Was he involved with the laser sights?
Oh no, no. The laser sights was one of his cronies allegedly.
Anyway, let's all right. I think that I don't even remember the question I just asked, but yeah, we're there. Anyway, guys, now I'm gonna bring up something. I didn't have this on the rundown. I should have put it on the rundown. It didn't cross my mind until maybe like an hour before we hopped on. But this site is not exactly like, you know, nothing. They might be a little overrated in their ratings, but I think they do present some interesting talking points to have. It's PFF. Now, the reason I bring this up is because these are their top 10 graded players in this game, right? And some of them, I'm like, yeah, I agree. This guy might need to be a little bit higher. This guy might need to be a little bit lower. It's just fun exercise for me, just to kind of see where they have everybody rated. So I'm gonna go from 10 to 1, just of how they have it graded. And spoiler alert, Patrick Mahomes is not their number 1 rated player. So where is he land on the list? Here's what I got. Number 10 is Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's their 10th rated guy. Do you guys want the exact number, or do you just want me to see just want me to go off the order that they have it in?
You order.
All right. So number 10 is Trent McDuffie. Number 9, Landon Dickerson of the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 8 is Patrick Mahomes. Is their 8th graded, highest graded player in this game. Number 7, Saquon Barkley. Which, you know, I'm like,
more surprised.
I mean, I would expect him to be a little bit higher considering the season that he's had, but you know, as well as Patrick Mahomes, because it's Patrick Mahomes.
Is PFF actually highlighting linemen?
Yes, they are.
Okay, then that's fine, because that is the most important part of football. Just no one wants to talk about it. So
you're right, except the sickos. The sickos do love to talk about some O-line, D-line play. Number 6, Lane Johnson of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I think they should bump him up a little bit higher, but whatever. He's getting his acknowledgement here. Now, number 5, I think, was for me, the biggest shocker for multiple reasons. 1, because of the position. 2, because of the position that is being played for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's linebacker Zach Bond. The Eagles have not had a good linebacker since 2017, really. So for him to be the 5th rated, or their 5th highest graded player in this game, it's crazy to me. Now, the next part of this is wide receiver. A.J. Brown. I don't think that's too shocking. I think 4th overall is not bad for his talent level. And now comes the top 3. 3 of the top rated players. 2 of them come from the Chiefs, and they're on the line play. And this man, honestly, he should be probably number 2 in my opinion, just because he's been that dominant at his position for so long. Becky, we mentioned him earlier. It's Chris Jones. So he's the best pass rushing interior lineman this season in terms of his grade from PFF. He's got 6 sacks, 15 quarterback hits, 51 hurries. 51 hurries. I can't emphasize that enough, how many times he's able to get to the quarterback's face. Now, he's only managed to get him down 6 times, but it doesn't really matter because it's not necessarily about the sack. It's about, did you pressure the quarterback? And his win rate in the playoffs is 23.9%. He's generating pressure at 16.4% of the time. This guy's been a monster in the postseason. He is someone that you should really look out for. And up next at number 2.
For reference, what's a good win rate?
I would say anything above 10% is a good win rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Because if you think about it, there might be 60 snaps in an offensive game, right? In a game, right? And if you want to say 52% of the time, those 60 plays are pass plays, then you gotta,
Okay.
You gotta make the most of those few snaps. And so you definitely.
Yeah. I've never thought of that as a percentage. I didn't really think about it, so I just wanted to know.
Yeah. Now I could be wrong in saying 10%, but I feel like 10% is where you want your baseline to be at for your defensive line.
Yeah, it looks like as far as defensive tackles, ESPN had him at number 1 at 16% this year. So
yeah, so he's been incredible for so many years now. So you can't ignore him. He will be the biggest difference maker in this entire on the entire Chiefs defense. And then we're gonna go to the last two offensive linemen. This is for you, sickos. Number 2, Creed Humphrey of the Kansas City Chiefs, probably the best center in football right now. He has a 92.3 rating. And he is not allowed, I believe he hasn't allowed a pressure in the playoff, a single pressure this entire postseason. So, beating him is going to be really, really tough on this Eagles defensive front. Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, they have their hands full trying to get by him. Although the Chiefs' offensive line is going to be a little shaky. We can get into that when I go into my prediction. And yeah, lastly, Jordan Mailata of the Philadelphia Eagles is the highest graded offensive tackle, not just in the playoffs, but in the fucking regular season. He was probably the highest. Yeah, no, he was the highest rated tackle. So he's had an incredible season despite only playing, I think, 12 out of 17 games. Now, he has been gotten a bit in the postseason, but he's still been a solid, if not surefire, thing at the left tackle position. So things that I just wanted to bring up that I should have brought up a little bit earlier during the tails of the tape, but I believe that's an even split between Chiefs and Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 4, 5. Oh no! So it's 6 players in favor of the Eagles and 4 in favor of the Chiefs. But yeah, that just goes a little bit more into the whole picture that we got going on. All right, fellas, we're down to it. I'm probably gonna ramble at the end of my prediction a little bit, so I'm gonna give you guys the floor. Your predictions for this game. You've seen what each team has done to get here, whether it be through the box score, highlight clips, or watching the games themselves. Now it's time to see who's taking home the Lombardi Trophy. Becky, tell me why you think you're the team that you have predicting winning this game is going to win this game, and who is it?
Because Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT, and honestly, the football game is going to be excellent here. I'm excited to see this. It's going to be a great contest. The It's going to be a fun 77-0 victory for the Chiefs. But we really need to all look at the most important part of this, that there's going to be two teams putting 77 up on somebody getting dusted. Because at halftime, people are going to be expecting one of the greatest performers in American history to put his catalog on display for the world to see. A beautiful catalog, an impressive catalog, a wide-ranging catalog. But you know what they're going to get? They're going to get 77 times, not like us. For 20, 30 minutes, however long they give him, I hope he just goes over and over and over.
I hope he doesn't say a word. He just holds the mic out the whole time.
Well, that's at least one. At least by the 10th time they've played it, he doesn't have to hold it anymore. You know, everybody gets the gist at that point, and you're just rolling on that one. The 10th one, everyone else does for him. So yeah, that's my prediction for the Super Bowl.
All right, 77. All right. Eventually,
let's cheer for the commercials to actually fucking try this year.
They have it for so long.
Tubi.
I'm not gonna watch on Tubi actually. The YouTube TV must have relaxed some of their stuff because I cut it out of the budget for the wedding stuff, and then my fiance's dad decided to get the package to cut his cord, and then he was like, "Just use ours," and I was like, "Well, it's not gonna work," and then I logged in and it fucking works. So all right, cool.
Oh, yeah, don't even question it.
I guess I got YouTube TV back. So
hell yeah, brother.
Don't. If you're listening to this, Alphabet, fuck you.
All right, Patrick, give us your prediction. Tell us your thoughts about this game. Let's go.
I mean, we've been saying it all year. It's just until someone proves otherwise, it's just hard to pick against the Chiefs, right? Like, they've won 2 Super Bowls in a row. They only lost 1 actual game this year where they tried. I'm not saying they can't lose, but you just got to ride with them as far as just sticking with
if
what
it makes
seems to work.
If it makes everyone feel better, it does feel like if they win this one, they're going to just face plant because like they've got to be out of gas.
Will they?
Dude, Chris Jones especially, bro. Like, go enjoy the rest of your life, son.
Chris Jones, Travis Kelce. I mean, they're on their last legs.
There's a reason Andy Reid built himself up so big.
Yeah, even Andy, dude. I think even even if it's just Mahomes in a year or so from now, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, Andy did say he'll be back next season regardless of the result. So
okay, there you go.
But yeah, I think they will find the way to do it. Unless Saquon really can just carry that thing because he could. Like, he is that guy. But what I'm worried, and I don't want to put this evil thought in Caesar's head, is that he's going to have just a real untimely fumble. Hopefully not, though, because that seems like it wouldn't be a fun thing to see. So
I don't know if this makes Caesar feel any better, and maybe it's not even accurate. You guys can debate it. This is probably the best team they've faced in their Super Bowl run, maybe even including the team they lost to in the Bucs.
I would say so, because if you just do a roster comparison, right, top to bottom, like all 22 stars on each side.
Well, it's obviously a better Eagles team because it's basically the same Eagles team but improved.
That Eagles team would run roughshod over that Niners team. I'll doubt it.
The 49ers, I don't know if that inspires a lot of confidence. It didn't last year. I don't think a lot of us really thought they had that.
That's kind of what we've been talking about again this whole year is the NFC is kind of competing to be the top of the NFC, not to be the champs. But it's football, so they get one game, and they can still go out there and and do it. And I think this Eagles team very easily could, but again, final thing I will say on it is until you see it, you just got to ride with Patrick Mahomes.
All right. Well, those are my esteemed colleagues there with their predictions. Now, I'm going to ramble on a little bit before I give out my my prediction here. Gentlemen, I want to get a little as poetic as I am capable of being in this game, all right? So I know that there's been a little bit of apathy towards this game from a lot of people because it's two teams that nobody really wants to see. Some teams don't want to see a repeat of history. Some teams don't want to see the Eagles being the team that upsets a dynasty. But I want to tell people this. This is a team of two Titans going up against each other, all right? And each one has their own storyline going into this game. for the Philadelphia Eagles, this is a story of redemption. All right? They lost in Super Bowl 57. The following year, what happens? They face plant. After starting off strong, yes, there was a lot of dysfunction going into the year, and throughout the year, that dysfunction continued to just show face time and time again. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs on the other end, there was doubts about can they repeat. That team doesn't seem to be as good as the year before. It doesn't seem to be as explosive. It's a receiver by committee thing. But they established themselves as absolute titans in this fucking sport. All right? They haven't only just built a dynasty, okay? They have created something else. They created Patrick Mahomes, this unstoppable force at the quarterback position. So in this, you have two different storylines going. Can the Philadelphia Eagles, who have rebuilt themselves from the ground up on the defensive side of the ball, can they stop Patrick Mahomes when it matters most? Because there is no stopping it. There is no shutting him out. There is no getting a schematic advantage over Andy Reid, one of the best minds on the offensive side of the ball that we have ever fucking seen, in any era of football. And he continues to evolve his game as he grows older, as he's gotten more and more time with Patrick Mahomes. Now you look over on the Eagles side of the ball. Like I said, it's a story of redemption. What do they have to do? They have to go get a hired gun in Vic Fangio to rebuild that defense. And it's almost an overnight success. He takes the 31st ranked defense, turns them into the first. He gets rid, he doesn't get rid of anybody, but the Eagles no longer have these established names like Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. All right. James Bradbury fell off a cliff and they just shunned him and put him in a closet somewhere and say, hey, collect the paychecks. They bring in two rookie cornerbacks, two rookies at one of the most important positions on the defensive side of the ball. And they're like, we're going to run with these guys. And they are locking people down. What was once a weakness is now a strength. What was once a strength of the Philadelphia Eagles is now a perceived weakness on the offensive side of the ball with Jalen Hurts in that passing game. But what happens, NFC Championship, everything looks like it's supposed to look, right? That offense firing not just on the ground game, but in the air. It may not be gaudy numbers, but it is effective and it is spectacular when it needs to be, and it needs to show up again in this game. So no, NFL fans, you're not going to get some David versus Goliath like you would have had you would have had with the Commanders versus the Chiefs. Hell, even the Lions with a depleted defense on their last legs in this hypothetical matchup would have been considered David against the Chiefs Goliath. No, you have somebody that on paper has every reason to be just as much of a Goliath as the Chiefs. The only problem is they've lost once before. Will they lose again? And that should be every reason you should tune in and watch this game, because this is such a compelling storyline, because it is the best player versus the best team. Yeah, there are no real underdogs in this team, so you may not have a necessarily rooting interest, but you are going to get the best quality football that we've probably seen all year long. All right? Because you have Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, two of the best coaches on their respective sides of the ball, with Patrick Mahomes on one end, Chris Jones on the other, two of the best at their positions that we've seen the past decade. And then you look at the Eagles team. Yeah, Nick Sirianni, for all his faults, he has rallied this team around him. He may be a fair weather guy where things are great. He's great. And things are great right now. He has Vic Fangio, a Grizzly vet who's never beaten Patrick Mahomes. Never beaten him whenever he was with the Broncos, Dolphins. He never seemed to be able to get one up on Patrick Mahomes, but he never had this collection of talent. And it's not old talent. It is young, youthful talent. Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Zach Bond, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Nolan Smith, Milton Williams. These may not be household names to you guys, but these are huge names to me because they've made themselves huge names to me and the Philadelphia Eagles fan base. And then you look at the other side of the ball. You have a young, kind of polarizing offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. He's been tasked to turn this offense that has probably the best line in football you'll ever see, or you might see in any given era of football. Two of the best wide receivers in the league right now, the best receiving tandem the Eagles have ever had in their entire history. You have Saquon Barkley, arguably one of the most talented running backs we've ever seen, finally being unlocked to his true potential. And then you have a polarizing figure in Jalen Hurts in terms of the quality of football that he brings, the level of football that he brings to his position. And he's going up against Steve Spagnuolo. And the last time they faced each other, listen, the Eagles got what they want. And if it wasn't for one or two bad turnovers by the Eagles, they could have walked away with that Lombardi trophy. So, all this to say what? All this to say that this is a game that I expect to go down to the wire, that Eagles have rebuilt themselves, I believe, to beat this specific team. With ball control and a defense that's not reliant on sacks the way that other team was. A team that has a defensive coordinator who absolutely will bring something new to the table when something that he has established isn't working. Jonathan Gannon, he ran out his starting 11 and said, just be better. Vic Fangio's like, you were great. I'm going to find a way to make you greater. This isn't working. I'm going to find something that works. And then the last thing that this Eagles team is that differentiates this team from the last Eagles team. Last Eagles team, they were a liability on special teams. They were a liability on defense. They weren't a tough-nosed defense that forced turnovers. This one is. This one forces fumbles. And you look at special teams, yes, Jake Elliott has not been the kicker that Eagles fans are accustomed to. But you know what was their biggest issue? It wasn't that they couldn't make field goals. It's that they couldn't punt the ball. They couldn't play the field position game. Now they can. And now they can win the field position game. So, this is a different team. Look at the Chiefs team. It may not be as talented as previous Chiefs teams have been, but they win. And they've won more than previous Chiefs teams have won. Because they have number 15. They have Andy Reid. They have Steve Spagnuolo. They have Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, Travis Kelce, Creed Humphrey. It may be a team that's top-loaded, and everybody else has to carry their weight, but everybody carries their weight. So something's got to give in this game. That said, as much as I want to believe and hope that this Philadelphia Eagles team can beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think they can, because if I were to do the same exercise I did last time, comparing both rosters, I'm going to say Philadelphia is the better team, is the better roster. But do they have the better coaches? No. Do they have the better quarterback? No. And that might be the ultimate difference maker in this game if the Eagles can't establish a lead early and play ball control, because they have the weapons to do so on both sides of the ball. It's can they do it? And until we see it done to the Chiefs, I don't know. So my prediction is going to go like this. I think the Kansas City Chiefs put up 24 points. And the Philadelphia Eagles put up 25. You thought I was going to be pessimistic? F that. All right, I didn't come this far to come this far. My mental health may be riding on this game, but damn it, I gotta have faith in my boys to pull one out. Yes, Kellen Moore, you stupid, goofy motherfucker. I believe in you in this game. Vic Fangio, I believe in you. Not you, Justin Tugger. Get out of my face. The Eagles win a close one, and if they don't, expect an all-time crash out. Nico Harrison, you are not safe if the Eagles lose this game. That's all I got.
There it is.
It's beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. It
That
should
was
be
off the
fun.
cuff, by the way. I did not have a script, nothing. Off
I've
the
been-
dome.
I've been ready for football season to officially be over since it ended for me a few weeks ago.
Man, I need this. I need this.
Well, I mean,
Give this to me.
honestly, it sucks that I'm left with 50% of the option here, but objectively, really talented Super Bowl. You gotta like that. You love the halftime performer. It's not crap. Gotta just really hope they care about the ads again. Just a little bit more. Just a little more effort.
I feel like last year I watched the SpongeBob broadcast, maybe, so I didn't see the same ads.
The thing that they've been doing a
I
lot,
don't know
and
if
I
I'm doing that
noticed
one.
this, is that they'll just show the Super Bowl commercial days before the Super Bowl and then just air it during the Super Bowl.
It's just different now, yeah. A lot of times they'll do like teasers leading up to their Super Bowl commercial too.
Yeah,
So you'll
and
already be familiar with the
we've overhyped the
characters.
commercial so much. I don't think they could ever reach the hype until we lower our expectations and just be like, oh man, these Super Bowl commercials are gonna probably give you shit anyway. And then they come out of the woodworks with our expectations
It's just
at
been
the
it's
low.
been tough for them since smartphones really took over.
I want questionable decisions, and
We don't watch 'em.
I do hope for one thing for the Super Bowl. I do sort of hope Kendrick does one thing, like
Calls Drake a
That-
pedophile.
that's more on the far
Me too.
end of the. I mean, he's already clearly going to do that, whether they let him or not. But like, there's been rumors that he'll bring Janet Jackson on. You know, I would like for him to sneak something in. Now, I think you probably saw the Pablo Torre thing about Prince.
Juvenile.
You probably saw the thing about Prince, right?
No.
Or about how Prince basically put on there was a halftime show or whatever, and it's just hard to do your own thing basically in the halftime show because that's how many eyeballs are going to be on it as you're preparing to do it, right, and getting set up for it. It was one of the many weird deep dives for Pablo's show.
I listened to that, but I just don't remember the Prince part. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one particular that was involving Prince and a secret halftime show. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing is I would like to see Kendrick do something very questionable. Like we've always joked that obviously he just brought his naked wife out to the Grammys, so we know we can't trust him now. But back when there was a little bit of an inkling of can we trust Kanye to do this, you know, everyone was like, nah, even at his best, we've always known that it's just probably not a good idea to team
Yeah,
up with them on a live
If
project.
they didn't grab him in 07, then
Even then, you know, I would argue even then it could have gone pretty rough for you. So I still hope Kendrick utilizes that because he does have a little of that in him too. So I'd like to see it.
Yeah, no. Do we? And you know what I should have put on this damn rundown was before we talked about the game itself. Should have talked about the potential set list for this game or for this halftime performance.
it's just gonna be Not Like Us. 20
Yeah, no,
times.
honestly,
Sis is gonna walk on stage and wave while Not Like Us is playing.
All right, but which song do we think he kicks it off with?
I don't know.
He's not
Honestly,
gonna kick it off with "Not Like Us."
no, because they fit a lot in. Rihanna fit like nearly 20 songs, I think, into
her entire.
Yeah, the medley bit's tough to guess.
Yeah,
especially
but
like,
I want to know what he starts everything off with, and I think I know which one he's gonna start off because it just feels like the perfect. Just hey, let's just start the song with this because the beat is just gonna get everybody hyped. I think he starts off with backseat freestyle.
what's the one where him and the girl
hear the,
just yelling,
ring,
"Fuck
ting,
you,"
ting,
back
ting.
and forth at each other?
No,
From Mr.
it's-
Morale.
no, I think the odds of how many songs from Mr. Morale are going to appear is the question. Is I would have
Zero.
None. Not a one. This is the
Yeah.
halftime. This is the Super Bowl halftime
Absolutely.
show. Like
Also,
we want to be hyped.
What about
We don't want to be introspective.
what about overly dedicated? Like, how far are we going back?
I think swimming pools or
You think
Humble,
he's just going to
but-
do a bunch of Mad City,
Damn.
Damn, and
I
Pimp
mean,
Butterfly,
Humble and DNA
Butterfly.
seem
Black
like they
Panther.
would just fit the.
they're
vibe
definitely
of
going to do the
Super
Black
Bowl.
Panther album. Yeah, they've got to do that. I've seen All the Stars live.
Oh my god,
That was
please
incredible.
do King's
And I
Dead.
don't like
I
that
want
song.
Future to do it.
Oh no. But see, the thing is like how many cameo, like, do you think he's gonna get, you think he's really gonna bring that many big names out? Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's not
I mean,
doing too
he's
much.
gonna have to bring out. I think he brings out Future and Metro Boomin. Yes, SZA, of course.
Okay, but like
J-Rock and Money Trees. Come on.
No.
He could lead off with the intro to N95, which is on a lot of these betting odds with the Hello New World.
Oh, yeah.
I could
that's
see that
fair.
being the intro to it. I was wondering why that song is on the. Well, N95 could work. That would be the one for Mr. Morale that could work.
So I do think that there's some stuff, but I mean, to me, we all know, like, I know that Future doing funny voices would be great, but like, I have questions about Black Hippie. I would say I'm at like super doubt mode is probably my question. Is probably where I would stand. I would say highly unlikely,
Very unlikely, I'd say.
but we'll see. That's definitely what I'm rooting for, though.
New
Like,
York Times also has United in
nothing
grief
could
on
be
here.
more important to me than Black Hippie coming on stage, even if it's for. I mean, it's tough because it's not like they have one song that they would do necessarily. They had the one Black Hippie freestyle that was kind of popular when it came out, like mainstream popular, but obviously, like, I don't know.
I have a guess on a petty moment though that Drake will have besides Not Like Us, right? What if they do
616
fucking Problems without Drake there? So you have ASAP, you
Oh.
got Kendrick, you
Yeah,
got
that's
2
fair.
Chainz, right? All you'd be missing is who? Just Drake, right? There's also the 4 guys that were in that song.
Skrillex, isn't Skrillex involved?
Skrillex
No.
isn't in that song.
Why would you say this?
No, because there was a Skrillex ASAP Rocky song during that whole
There was, but that
on
was
that album.
It's also
Yeah.
it's just the stupid dubstep like sound of the hook with the record with the record scratch. It just sounds kind of like that. I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Not on fucking Problems.
No. Yeah,
What song am I thinking of?
Wild for the Night, I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Wild for
okay,
the Night.
yeah. Sorry.
I'm going wild for the night.
That's all it.
Yeah, no, I'm watching ASAP fucking Problems
Kendrick,
right now. Like, yeah, please,
Drake, 2
Kendrick,
Chainz,
do it.
and Rocky. Yeah.
Do it without Drake.
No, I don't think Rocky needs to be out there. Like I said, I don't think he's gonna go for a bunch of big names.
He's not having a great time right now.
Yeah,
right?
ASAP Rocky's definitely not gonna be there.
Oh,
First of all.
I'm not keeping up with any
For-
ASAP right now.
For other reasons, he's definitely not going to be there. I could go ahead and spoil that one for you right
You don't
now.
think he's
All
gonna
right,
show
I'm
up
gonna
and
go
pretend to
ahead
point a gun
and
at someone's
look that up
stomach and
after the
head
show.
and
It's also like Dr. Dre. Like I'm just curious
Well, I would
to
think
who.
I would think if he did anything, it'd do New Orleans stuff, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, why would he? I mean, he doesn't.
Yeah,
need
why would
that.
he?
Orleans.
He's because like
Didn't know
this
that's the
this
city.
time Kendrick is there to showcase his like contributions to the music industry, right? Like you
I
wouldn't
just
have
feel like they
wanted
did the LA thing already last time when he showed up.
Yeah, but his thing isn't just LA. He's had a very like there's a lot of themes and a lot of things that Kendrick Lamar's done over his discography that I don't think needs to just be all LA focused. Obviously, LA is a big part of it. And he can bring in New Orleans influence a little bit, but I would think that this is his opportunity to really showcase his contribution. I mean, it's what everybody does. Like I thought that was the coolest part of Rihanna when people were kind of like, "Does Rihanna have enough?" And I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm pretty sure." And then she plays it, and you're like, "Man,
She had it.
Rihanna's had so many hits." So it's just obvious there, you know. So it's just a good job, you know, if you're that popular. I think Usher was a little questionable, but he's so popular in R&B for a while that I think it was fine.
And then just all the pop. People
Well,
forget
yeah,
how
he never-
popular.
Yeah,
it is.
and
If you
Usher
don't
really
have to
did
do a
hit
full
that
song
early
if you all you
rave
do is do
stuff.
like 30 to 40 seconds of a song, he's great for that.
No, yeah. Usher was one of the OG, like when you could tell that. I think it was honestly probably after Daft Punk and Kanye collabed to make Stronger that all pop music is like,
What if we all incorporated
What
house
if we
music?
all did this? What if we all put a little bit of this? All the kids like EDM these days.
And then they just bastardized
It's
it.
just it's just a further evolution of what Max Martin was doing in the '90s with Ace of Base. It's fine.
No, I mean it's a evolution of a musicians have been doing since Robert Johnson sold his soul at the crossroads.
There you go.
Bringing
All
it
right,
back
well-
to Bach now, all right?
Yeah, bring
No, I'm
Bob.
sorry. I'm sorry. If we're gonna be stubborn Americans, then I'm gonna say music started with Robert Johnson, not with any of the ancient history that I'm just choosing to ignore because it's inconvenient.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, I think with that, we should close out this Super Bowl segment. Because I think we got some basketball to talk about, even though the sport is dead to me. But we got some basketball to talk about.
We'll be right back with the basketball.
Difference between good and great at quarterback is you don't really have any answers for great. You just put in great effort and you hope.
There is no question. There's no question that people want this team to lose.
And if winning football games makes you a villain, we're going to keep going out there and doing it.
The Philadelphia Eagles got a chance to win this Super Bowl. They're just as good, if not better, than the Kansas City Chiefs.
You either win or you learn. That's how I feel. You either win or you learn.
Time and time again. More pressure, more efficiency. More intensity, bigger plays.
Daylight come and me want go